Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of general medicine where I make a very difficult, boring, dreadful topic easy to learn in under 15-20 minutes. Just this one video and one very useful resource which I'm going to mention in the end of the video, and your topic is going to be done. So the topic I'm covering today is none other than hypothyroidism. Now every topic we learn has a very simple trick to be learnt and memorized for a longer duration. For a topic to be learned, you must create a storyline which can be done in the form of headings and categorizing the topic into several different content areas so that if you ever skip anything, you know that something has been missed out and you can memorize it right there. That is going to create a very wholesome answer for your university exams and also keep you in check for everything which you've revised. So let's get into the lecture for today. And the first heading which we will cover is Introduction, or what is hypothyroidism. So as the term suggests, hypo means anything which is less and thyroidism means something related to thyroid hormones. So it is an acquired disease in which the body stops producing or decreases the production of thyroid hormones, as the term was very clearly telling us. Now this can be due to a primary disease or HPA axis abnormality can be there. So either the thyroid is actually affected or something is wrong with the HPA axis, which involves the pituitary gland. So etiologic agents which can lead to a decreased thyroid functioning and decreased thyroid hormones lead to certain causes like Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disease. This is most common in adults and thyroid is targeted, and due to which the hormones decrease. Second, there can be iodine deficiency, which is required by the thyroid gland to function properly, especially in hilly areas where the water doesn't contain iodine. Riedl's thyroiditis can be present, which is inflammation of the thyroid gland. Congenital deficiency, wherein the functioning of the thyroid is congenitally very slow. Radiation therapy, which affects the functioning of the thyroid and decreases its action. Lastly, medications like amiodarone and lithium also have a depressing action on the thyroid's functioning. Other than these, a patient who has gone under thyroid surgery can also have decreased thyroid hormone for several months or years later on. Once we know what causes the disease, we need to know how those causes are leading to the disease, that is the pathophysiology. So coming towards the pathophysiology of hypothyroidism, it is pretty simple that any etiologic factor which is leading to the less production of hormones or is affecting the gland is leading to various symptoms. So any etiologic factor like maybe autoantibodies, they can attack the thyroid gland causing the various symptoms. For example, thyroiditis has happened where an inflammation is there. The follicles are going to be destroyed by the etiologic agent. This leads to colloidal leak from the cells and the follicles, which leads to exaggerated immune response, which is going to cause the antibodies attacking on the cells of the thyroid itself. This leads to anti-thyroglobulin antibodies, which act against the thyroid tissue itself. This leads to accumulation of gags in interstitial tissues, which is hydrophilic in nature and leads to dermopathy, ophthalmopathy, and myopathy. So if fluid is leaking out from the cells, it is going to get accumulated in the interstitial spaces. So other than the thyroid hormone being affected, there is going to be accumulation of the fluid in several tissues, which leads to eye signs, that is ophthalmopathy or the exophthalmos, and dermopathy, wherein the extremities are going to be swollen and fluid is going to be retained. So this is how the pathophysiology of hypothyroidism functions basically. After we know how a disease is progressing, we need to know what the disease looks like, presents like. So what are its types and what are its clinical features? So there can be 3 types of hypothyroidism depending the step at which a disease or derangement has occurred. So primary disease is where thyroid gland itself is affected and T3, T4 have actually decreased. Second is secondary, wherein TSH is affected. If TSH is going to be decreased, there is going to be less stimulation of thyroid to produce T3, T4. So that is going to lead to hypothyroidism. This is secondary. And tertiary is when the hypothalamus itself is affected. There is not going to be any pituitary activation, which is not going to lead to any thyroid activation. Therefore, tertiary step involvement is leading to hypothyroidism. So the classification of hypothyroidism can be at 4 stages: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Primary is at the level of the gland, secondary at the level of pituitary, tertiary at the level of thalamus, and lastly, there can be tissue insensitivity, wherein the hormone is present, but the tissues are not acting towards the hormone which is present. So tissue insensitivity can be there. Now, if the patient is having less T3, T4, what are the clinical features that the patient is going to present with? So there is going to be weight gain, because if T3, T4 is less, it means metabolism is low. Weight gain is going to be there. The patient is going to present with fatigue and have cold intolerance. The patient is not going to tolerate any amount of cold in the weather. And there is going to be decreased functioning overall. So there is going to be slow thinking, depression, and decreased heart rate. This is how hypothyroidism affects all other organs. Other than this, the skin is going to be presenting with dry, coarse nature. Eyes are going to be puffy, and there is going to be edema in the body. So these are the clinical features which are going to be present for a patient with hypothyroidism. Once we know the patient is presenting this way, we need to come to a confirmatory diagnosis and perform certain diagnostic tests. For that, the first screening test is to perform the level of TSH. If TSH is normal, we know pituitary, hypothalamus, everything is normal. It is just thyroid which is the problem. And if TSH is not normal, we know that the signaling in itself is incorrect. Then we do imaging studies, which is USG of the neck. Ultrasonography is done so that the size of the gland can be measured. Then we can do lab testing with elevated serum CK level in case the heart and the lipids are also going to get involved. Elevated blood urea nitrogen, creatinine, and uric acid, because if thyroid hormones are low, other organs are also going to function less. So if heart functions less, it is going to lead to a elevated serum CK level. And if the liver is going to work less, there is going to be hyperlipidemia. If kidney is going to be working less, there is going to be elevated level of toxins like blood urea nitrogen, uric acid, and creatinine, along with hepatic enzymes. So this is how one organ affects other organs. Lastly, antithyroid autoantibodies can also be present. So thyroid peroxidase antibody testing is done, because if this is positive, it means the disease is actually autoimmune in nature. Once we have come to a confirmatory diagnosis, we move towards treating the patient. So what is the treatment? First is to avoid whatever irritant is there. Avoid goitrogens, example, cabbage. Then we start with drugs, which is T4 drug like levothyroxine is given. Starting dose is 25 mcg tablet once daily in the morning, and then it is increased according to the symptoms of the patient and the lab findings which are seen. Serum TSH and T4 levels are monitored frequently. Now, why T4 level? Because T4 is eventually converted to T3 into extremities. So if T4 is going to be normal, T3 will itself be normal. Then we give IV levothyroxine. It can be required in emergencies like Myxedema Coma, wherein very less T3 and T4 is present, and immediate increase in the amount is required. Lastly, in cases of pregnancy, the dose is increased by about 25% and reduced again post-pregnancy, because during pregnancy, the body is already functioning a lot. There is going to be increased metabolism, so the body requires an add-on dose of T3, T4. Therefore, 25% dose will be increased for pregnant females, but it will be decreased later on after the pregnancy. So this is how we can compile a topic of hypothyroidism, where a T3, T4 is less in amount. You study the definition, types, etiologic agents, clinical features, pathophysiology, lab investigations, and the treatment. After you have read a topic, watched a video like this, you must solve some questions. For example, I have 2 questions over here. One is in the form of a flashcard and second is in the form of an MCQ. So what is myxedema? Myxedema is basically non-pitting edema due to accumulation of mucopolysaccharides in tissues. This happens because of decreased amount of T3, T4. So if you solve such flashcards on the app of MediStudy Go, you can easily flip them over and view the answer along with the explanation. Other than flashcards, you can even solve some MCQs. For example, the drug of choice for hypothyroidism is insulin, methimazole, levothyroxine, or cortisol. So the choice is levothyroxine, because that is actually a T4 substituent, which leads to the correction of the level of T3, T4. And this all is available on the app of MediStudy Go, wherein you can view various resources like mind maps, notes, videos, flashcards, and MCQs. Now you must be wondering, what are mind maps? So let me show you the resource which I was talking about in the starting of the video, and that is this Mind Maps book for general medicine by MediStudy Go. Now this book contains every topic in pictorial format, categorized into several headings, and it is very easy to memorize a topic in this way. You must get yourself these books for all the subjects of BDS from e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Dentalcart, or even the website of MediStudy Go. Do check out our app for all the iOS, Android users. It's easily available. And if you want to compile any topic in under 15-20 minutes, you must subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is MediStudy Go. Solve some questions on the app, create your mind maps by yourself, and your cropic will be good to go. Thank you for watching this video. Keep watching for more, and I'll see you in the next one.